Hey guys, this is whytmanga with a new video, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you guys how to color hair with Copic markers. Again, here I'll try to make it as easy as possible, try to be as straightforward as possible, and for this tutorial we're going to use a young version model of one of my characters from my book, Apple Black. This is Caesar, the first villain for the first arc. You can check out Apple Black, the first 4 chapters free, they're in the description. You can also purchase volume 1 with the first 9 chapters. With Caesar at the very end, the 9th chapter, and that is also available for purchase worldwide. Again, everything you could possibly need will be in the description. Apple Black is published and serialized in Saturday AM. You can check out everything you could possibly need about Saturday AM in the description as well. This is the same model I also used in my video about drawing the same character over and over and having them look the same. I also used the same character in the tutorial where I was toning traditionally. I also used this character in the same video where I was screen toning traditionally. And readers will get to see a whole lot more of the character in volume 2 of Apple Black, which again, is still in the works. It's going to come out this year, early this year, real soon. Working on it. So I'm just going to ink the character and we'll go from there. I'm going to erase the pencils off, and then I'm going to put in the skin, color in his skin. Now, Caesar is a character of color. So in this tutorial I'm going to end up using colors for dark skin tones, which I'll have a separate tutorial for. I was actually going to use this same video to do it, but I kind of lost the footage. Sorry guys. So I'll just use a different character and do it in a separate video. For this video we're going to focus solely on the hair. Key thing to keep in mind is when you're coloring hair, it depends on the color of the hair, it depends on the hairstyle, and those are the 2 key things. But for this tutorial, it's going to be my style, so there are people with different coloring styles as well. This is my style with Copic markers, and I'm going to be coloring a character with like fluffy blonde hair. After I've decided the 2 base colors for what the hair is going to be, then I play around, and I'll usually always start with the lighter color. Now when I'm coloring in hair, I try to make sure I try to keep in mind that there will be highlights, so I leave space. I leave like white space in the hair, assuming that the character is in let's say he's out during the day and this is like sunlight. It wouldn't exactly be white, but close enough. Especially for traditional art, it's usually kind of white. So you leave that white space, and that's the same highlights shining on his skin as well. So with some really bright white light from say behind him, but more to the left as well. And I'm coloring accordingly. Now anytime I'm coloring for me when I'm coloring hair, it's unlike the skin where I'm trying to find a flat tone all through, where I'm trying to have a consistent flow of the color all through. With the hair, I'm purposefully a little more rough to kind of simulate how it will look in real life. Like hair isn't like a smooth flat color. It's it's all over the place. It's like tiny strands of hair all over, especially with a character like this that has a lot of hair. So there's going to be a lot of highlights from several angles and things like that. So I'm going to have white highlights in the hair, and my hand motion when I'm coloring in the hair is like in the direction of where I feel like those strands are going, the hair strands. And there are all sorts of hair strands all over the place, so my hand is kind of all over the place as well. Now some places I will have like a darker, like I will put more alcohol, because this Copic markers are alcohol based colors, so I would have more alcohol in some areas than others based off of where I think there will be more shadows. So if I think a certain area is going to be darker, I put more strokes in there. And sometimes if you see like closer to his neck where there isn't that much light in that area, I usually would maybe try to do something similar to what I do with the skin, where it would be smooth in that area where it's just a consistent tone, because there isn't going to be any light or any highlights in there anyways. And again, this is like the style of this drawing is not so realistic. So there are places where we can mess with the threshold. So in places like that, it could be flat, but then again, I could go in with a darker color, which I have not touched yet, which we'll get to. Here I'm just playing around with the lighter color, which is the Whyt21. I believe the Whyt21 is the buttercup yellow, and then the darker one is mustard. That's the Whyt26. And for now, I'm just with the lighter color and just playing around with that. Some people actually go backwards where they use the darker before they use the lighter, but for me, I go light and then dark, and then sometimes, especially if I'm coloring skin, sometimes I start with a light, then I go dark, and then I use the light and try to blend both colors with the lighter color when I go over it the third time after everything's kind of dry. But now I'm still playing around, deciding where I want the highlights to be, places that I want lighter than other places, because the more ink you put down, the darker it looks. And I'm focusing on making darker, say, some parts, like if you look in the middle of his head, not his face area, just like in the middle of the whole thing. You can see like hair where I draw like hair lines with like a black outline of the Sakura micron. I try to give those shadows. It's almost like I'm giving all the places where they're like hair strands. I try to put more lines in there with the alcohol, indicating some kind of shadow in there, so those are darker. So the coloring overall of the hair is very uneven. It's almost think of it like you are coloring in every strand of hair, even though I don't have it drawn out. Now there are some artists out there that draw their characters, and in their style they draw each line, at least they attempt to, and sometimes it can look like someone's head could look like a bowl of ramen, or depending on the color, but you get my point. In this case, I kind of leave it, I mess with the threshold a little bit, kind of leave it be. I don't have too many black lines in the hair, but I have just a little bit. Essentially, you can imagine that they are, say, the color I'm using in, just imagine the darkest form of that color, and that's what the black lines are supposed to be. It's very hard to explain because several people have different kinds of coloring styles. You see people that will color this in, and rather than having the dark black lines in the hair, they would have like really, really dark yellow lines. And you can see this more in like Disney stuff. Or sometimes people color without any, basically that's what it is, without any black outlines. But I'm getting a little sidetracked. I'm just making sure, trying to go over it as much as I can with simple strokes, as if I'm coloring in hair, in the direction of where I think the hair was going. And the hair here allows me for a lot of creativity and just fun, because Caesar's hair is all over the place, so my hand's all over the place as well. I'm also keeping in mind of the white highlights, so even though the yellows, some yellows are going to be darker than others because I'm putting in more alcohol, some places I'm going to leave completely white, like around the top of his hair, especially in the parts where the light source is coming from. So some of the yellows aren't touching the edges of the hair. From this distance, you might think they are, but they're not. And if they are, it's just a little bit, because if the light was coming from behind him, again, it's not that close, but if it was coming from behind him, the edges of the hair would be a little white, because those are like the highlights, assuming the highlight light is white. A lot of rhymes. Now I'm going to put in the darker color, and that's the mustard. And it's basically the same thing. And now I just want to keep in mind the places that I want to be darker. And it's all based on where the light source is coming from. Again, the same when it comes to how my hand moves around. It's based off of, the direction of the hair strands. And that's what I'm doing here. I still leave the white spots for the highlights in the hair. But, all the parts that I was trying to make darker with the previous color, which was the Whyt21, just a lighter yellow, buttercup yellow. Now I can, this is originally darker color on its own, mustard, and I'm just going over those lines as well. And then again, going back to some places that I want to be really darker, like closer to his neck, I'll go in with this, and it'll be easier to fool around there. Again, there's some things that I'm doing that it's so difficult to explain. Is you can also take this tutorial as an observational tutorial as well, so you can pick up things that you might want to see and see how you can adapt that into your own style, because I might be doing things that you might not like. I've seen people that I think are talented, but they do things with Copic markers that I wouldn't do. So here, you can pick and choose. That's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you check out Apple Black and Saturday AM. You can check out we released issue 60, and we have like a New Year's special where issue 60 is free. And if you want to read issue 60 of Saturday AM, check out Apple Black and all the other comics that are on Saturday AM. Saigami, Bully Eater, Clock Striker, Islanders, Monster Society of America, Paradise Down, New World Zodiac, all that in the description. Link to it, go check it out. Hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you get notified each time I upload a video. Subscribe to this channel if you want to see more. I'll have a separate video for coloring skin for darker toned characters. You know, really, not all characters have the same color. Everyone has like different colors. Even with hair, there's several colors. But once you pick your colors, the techniques you use using the Copic markers, those are the same. Please don't forget to like this video. Leave a comment if you have any. You can check out my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that social media stuff. Everything's in the description. This is whytmanga, and I'm out.